Well, looks like America is going to get a new president, and that new president who's going to win if all the votes been counted is Joe Biden. Yeah, this whole this recount thing is just it's crazy. I mean, Donald Trump, the president, is freaking out and going on live TV and making up stuff like he's talking about voter fraud and votes are being taken away from him, and if you count the votes clearly, I'm the winner, and he's like taking states to court who hasn't voted for him or something like that. Yeah, Donald Trump is just bitching and whining and complaining that he's going to lose, and all his supporters who are jacking off to him, who love him so much, are complaining that he isn't going to win. So, yeah, you know what? Me, even though I voted for Joe Biden, because I have no choice, I mean, because I live in a rock hard, solid red conservative state called Texas, and this state was supposed to turn blue, but this state was gonna turn blue if Biden pick up the votes here, but it didn't happen. The state went to Trump, and the state is going to remain. The state is going to still be rock hard, solid red conservative. Yeah, and all of this, I don't, to me, I mean, it doesn't matter if Trump wins or Biden wins, and it doesn't matter if Biden is the new president or. Oh, hold on a second. Okay, as I was saying, it doesn't matter to me if Trump is still the president or Biden is the new president, and Biden's getting all the votes and he's going to be the new president. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I mean, either one of these guys are not going to do anything. They're not going to solve the problems. I mean, both Trump and Biden aren't for universal health care, UBI, the New Deal, the Green New Deal, you name it. I mean, they're not for the things that Bernie Sanders was talking about when he was running for president twice. First in 2016 and this year, 2020. I mean, these two guys are not going to be for anything. I mean, they're not going to do nothing for the country. No, I mean, they're not going to take in the policies that Bernie Sanders has. So, yeah. Okay, in this video, I'm going to talk about transportation, or infrastructure. I know that America has crumbling infrastructure. I know the transportation system in big cities in America are bad. Some are good, some are bad. But I don't know anything about that, so I'm just gonna focus on the infrastructure. Crumbling roads, crumbling bridges. crumbling roads and dilapidated bridges. Um, roads with potholes, cracks, are just they just do damage to people's cars when they drive their cars on them. And I'm gonna give an example right here. I'm on this stretch of road. Look at that. Just I mean, it looks to me like this road wasn't like repaved. It just being patched up. The black asphalt. They use black asphalt to cover up the potholes. And this road is still in bad shape. There's some roads where I'm at that are just even worse. Roads with roads with like littered with potholes and cracks. Really bad. Yeah, well, yeah, yeah, just crumbling, dilapidated roads. All this damage that's done by cars that are being driven on roads like this. It just destroys and just ruins the suspension and knock the car out of line. That leads to money and car repairs, and car repairs are expensive, and they are. Yeah, and then I remember the Interstate 35W bridge which is in Minneapolis or St. Paul. That's in Minnesota. Yeah, I remember that bridge collapsed and injured people and killed others. So yeah, yeah. So America just has like crumbling roads and dilapidated bridges that will collapse. America is a big country. It's a huge country. Like some people had to rely on cars to get where they need to go. Public transit like buses and trains aren't available to them. America really, I don't know, doesn't care about trains. It's more like people care more about cars, and people get around in cars. In some parts of the country, people live in big cities take buses and in the subway. So the subway and doesn't exist. There's buses. Well, the buses are in a city, but not where I live. I live out in the country. I live out in the sticks, and I do. But I used to live in the city. I did, but I live in the country now, so. Yeah, and just want to let you guys know that America doesn't have the metric system. America has the imperial system. That means everything is in miles per hour. Like the speed limit sign right here, it's in miles per hour. Yeah, yeah. This speed limit sign is in miles per hour instead of kilometers per hour. So America doesn't want to. I think people in America don't want to shift to They don't want to go to the metric system. And I understand very little about the metric system. The metric system, everything is in kilometers per hour. So I think 45 miles per hour on this speed limit sign will be known as not miles, no, be known as, I say, it'll be like over 60 kilometers per hour. I think that's what this will be. Yeah. And I also know that in the past people in America or America in general hate roundabouts. They hate roundabouts. I went through roundabouts, in Belgium. When I was riding a bus and heading to a city in Belgium, which is in the northern part of Belgium, which is Flanders, where they speak Flemish, which is variation of Dutch. Yeah, Flemish and Flanders and northern Belgium is Dutch. Yeah. Yeah, I went through roundabouts, they weren't confusing to me or anything, And here in America, Americans hate roundabouts, and roundabouts in America are slowly they're popping up in places like California in the northern part of the U.S. So I don't think I ain't gonna see any roundabouts here in Texas. But speaking of roundabouts, there's this city called Kilgore, Texas, and Kilgore, Texas has a roundabout, just one. And this roundabout is just trash. I mean, the roadway around the roundabout is like crumbling. A lot of cracks and potholes. Very dilapidated. I mean, they just here in Texas, and I'm assuming it's like this in other states as well. I mean, they just they don't refurbish they don't repave the roads. They just cover up cracks and potholes. They repave some roads and other roads they don't. This road that you guys are looking at, this road is not state maintained. It's maintained by a county. And the county that I'm in Texas is called Smith County. The state that I'm in, which I'm in, is called Smith County. Excuse me. I'll just slip of the tongue. Smith County, Texas is notorious for having poor roads, poor county roads. And this is a county road of Smith County. This is known as County Road or County Route 370. And this road, parts of this road is in good condition. Some parts of it is in very poor condition. Some of the roads are horrible, littered with cracks and potholes. And this road has potholes, and they the county just came by and just like fill up the potholes with asphalt just to cover them up, and they just do the slapping patchwork, which is just cheap, you know. Yeah, and you know, just like Donald Trump, Joe Biden is not gonna like invest in an infrastructure re-overhaul in America. You know, like refurbish all the roads and highways in every state in America. Fix up the airports. The airports are like trash. Yeah, and improve the trains on railroads, like bringing in high-speed rail and get rid of these slow-ass trains that move super, super slow. Yeah, and when you ride a train in America, like you're just going slow. You're just going about like 60 miles per hour. I mean, in the metric system terms, that'll be 100 kilometers per hour. I think they need to bump up the speed for trains from 60 to 100 miles per hour. Or that'll be like over like 300 kilometers per hour or something like that, or 130 or more. I don't know. Yeah, you need to bump up the speeds on the trains and bring in like high-speed trains, a bullet style train for Japan, like from Japan. I mean, Japan has like bullet trains that are fast, super lightning fast. I mean, and they just blow these slow trains here in America away. I mean, when it comes to infrastructure in the United States, I mean, the U.S. is backwards on infrastructure. I mean, backwards on not just infrastructure, backwards on healthcare, backwards on mental health, backwards on education, just backwards on everything. And Joe Biden, who's going to become the new president, isn't going to address those issues. Just like Donald Trump, he's not going to address those issues. I mean, he's just an old fart that stumbles when he talks because I think he has a slight case of Alzheimer's disease, and he has like cognitive decline. Cognitive decline. I mean, he's not sharp. I mean, because he's an old man. I mean, he's in his 70s, and you know, I think he's not going to be president through the first term because I think Kamala Harris is going to take over, and Kamala Harris, to me, you know, she has a bad record. Like, you know, she locked up children for truancy, and there was this black guy who was on death row. He was innocent, and she just sat back and just let this guy be put on death row. You know, and let some guy be locked up because he has a small amount of marijuana in his car, something like that, you know. Her record isn't that great. I mean, she comes off as tough, but, you know, I mean, just like Joe Biden, I mean, her and Biden are both neoliberal centrists. I mean, they're not democratic socialists. They're neoliberal centrists. Neoliberal centrist corporate Democrats. They're just basically for their donors and huge multinational corporations, just like Donald Trump. You know, and those two are not going to do anything for infrastructure. They're not going to do anything to the dilapidated, crumbling infrastructure in this country. Period. And yeah. Yeah, um, I noticed all the money is being poured into the police, and less money is going to things like health care, mental health, and infrastructure, and other things that are important for everything that's good for the country and important to the citizens. You know, and that's why the police are going around killing innocent people left and right, and bullying people and running over people and yelling and cursing at people and treating people like trash, because they have so much power, because all the money, all the taxpayer dollars are being dumped into the police budget. And you got this bloated, fat police budget, and you got other things that are weak and has little to no money in them, like health care, education, and infrastructure, and mental health. And those things that are good for the country are suffering, while the police budget is through the roof. Then you got the big fat monstrous tax cuts for millionaires and billionaires and huge multinational corporations. That's what you got. I think all this money need to be taken out of the police budget and out of the wealthy. Raise taxes on millionaires and billionaires and huge multinational corporations, and put money into infrastructure. Put money into infrastructure. Yeah, put money in health care, infrastructure, and mental health, and not in things like tax cuts for millionaires and billionaires, and in the military industrial complex, and money for dumb, worthless wars. Put money in things that need to be rebuilt at home, like giving tender, loving care to crumbling roads that is part of the infrastructure of this country. Crumbling roads like this. Yeah. Biden is going to become president. And he is. And Donald Trump is whining and bitching and moaning and complaining. And he's going on like news stations and the lame, pathetic mainstream media that doesn't educate people and keep people in the dark on everything, and keeping people stupid in America. They shut off what Donald Trump is saying because they don't hear what he has to say, because he's making up lies and nonsense about voter fraud, and he's being screwed and taking states and giving states lawsuits because they're taking votes away from him and giving votes to Biden. Yeah. Biden's going to become president, and he's not going to be for things like Medicare for all, the Green New Deal, the New Deal, infrastructure, mental health. I mean, he's not going to be for those things at all. I mean, he's going to do a little good, but not a lot. I mean, you know, he's not, I mean, he's no good, just like Donald Trump. I mean, both of them are against democratic socialism policies that Bernie Sanders is for, you know. I hear talks that Nina Turner is going to run in 2024. Yeah. I don't know how that's going to go, and I heard talks of a third party is going to be created, but as an alternative to the two corrupt parties. So I don't think that's not going to happen. But overall, you know, we need somebody who needs to pour money, lots of money, into infrastructure. So people can drive on roads that are good. I mean, I looked on Google Maps and looked at videos on YouTube on roadways and highways or motorways or autobahns or auto routes in countries in Europe. And the roads are really nice. They're not crumbling. They're not dilapidated. I mean, at all. You know, the roads are in excellent condition because they've been refurbished a lot. And and you know, it's just said that America won't get roads like roads that Europe has. You know, it's just sad. You know, countries in Europe, when it comes to infrastructure, countries in Europe are just light years away, just light years ahead of America. I mean, they're going forward while America goes backwards. Yeah. Because of these corrupt politicians from both parties. You know, and I was chewed out by an asshole Texan who bashed me because I was talking about Bernie Sanders like things and said that Texas is going to turn blue, but it's not going to be by your liking. So basically a smart mouth asshole. Yeah. Look at Texas now. This state hasn't turned blue and is solid red. And infrastructure here is not going to be dealt with. I mean, I remember a road that runs from a city called Forney to Dallas. I mean, there was a bridge that this highway went across. This bridge was on the verge of being collapsed. This bridge was on the verge of collapsing. And and all those conservative politicians in the Lone Star State don't care. They don't care. All they care about is millionaires and billionaires and huge multinational corporations and going Looney Tunes on the death penalty by killing people left and right, regardless if they're innocent, non-innocent, innocent, guilty, mentally ill, mentally retarded, have a disability, have any type of disability. They don't care. And just run their mouth about how Texas is great and Texas strong and all this shit. But they're not strong on infrastructure. They're weak on infrastructure. They're weak on healthcare. They're weak on everything. Just like Joe Biden is weak on those things as well, and Donald Trump as well. So, no infrastructure improvement. So, people in cars are going to continue to drive on crumbling, dilapidated roads that will do a lot of damage to their cars. Do a lot of damage to the suspension. Yeah, I remember someone sent me a comment on a video on YouTube that I commented on. It was somebody from the UK, and they were telling me that the UK is gonna shift from driving on the left to driving on the right, and all of this, like, yeah, switching from the left to the right, and countries who drive on the right, like this country, switch from the right to the left. I mean, it's gonna go. I mean, you're gonna go through a lot of like red tape, yellow tape. It's gonna cost a lot of money. It's gonna take forever. Like, yeah, and that goes for people who are switching from the imperial system to the metric system, and to the metric system to the imperial system. So yeah, it's gonna like take a lot of money, a lot of time, and politicians gotta vote and approve this. I mean, you just can't just flip the switch and all of a sudden the UK is driving on the right and not driving on the left anymore. You know, to me, I feel that the UK is just better off driving on the left, because driving on the left, I mean, that's their identity when it comes to driving on the road, and that's who they are. Yeah. So yeah. So that's all I gotta say in this video. Bye.